What did a little yellow cat bat say to the elephant in a top hat? I'll let you know at the end of the video. Hello, I'm Matthew Armstrong. Let's draw Nellie the elephant and a yellow cat with bat wings. This started life as a smaller little thumbnail from my sketchbook. So I blew it up and I traced it in pencil using a light table. This is one of my favorite fountain pens. It has a calligraphy nib on it that's sort of bent at the tip, and you can use that to get really cool lines. Really neat, thick to thin, has a lot of capability of just expression. Just love it. I'm going for as much expressivity as I can muster, holding the pen a little loosely, letting the line get really thick around points that I think should be accented. Maybe rules for myself are, is there a shadow underneath that ear? Is there a shadow on the side of the head? Conversely, you can also put the thick line towards the top of the silhouette of your character, and that will push it forward and define the shape quite well. I like to get to the eyes and the mouth. I like to do the faces early in the drawing process as possible, just because that's my favorite part, and also, maybe more importantly, because at the beginning of the drawing process is when I have the most energy, and I like to try to take that energy and use it to make the character look as alive, as possible. Next, we just take care of the contour lines and the outlines of the suit and the character, and then build our way in. Finish those little toesies up. And then just kind of lightly scumbling texture, in this case the elephant's suit. It's a lined suit. Not worrying about it too much. Just kind of scribbling with feeling. I love just drawing like a little line with a small circle at the top for a leaf. It's like my favorite new way to draw plants. A couple of loose upside down U's and some M's and loose W's, and I got some instant ground. Little circles for like little stones. Simple flowers. I just need the bare minimum to say so much. I'm gonna start right with the little nose and eyes. At this point, I'm really in the flow, so I'm just sort of enjoying the process of cartooning and ink and line work. It's turning out great. It's a wonderful feeling. Cute little yellow cat bat creature. And all is right with the world. Those feet are neither anatomical or in perspective. They don't need to be. They just need to be maybe a little big, so they'll kind of show weight and ground the little character in the composition. I'm attempting to avoid drawing the entire forest behind them. Instead, I'm indicating that there's big giant trees. Alright, signature time. Hey, wait a minute. Who's that? Thank you, pen. You've done it again. Time for new pen. This is a Uniball ballpoint pen. It's waterproof, which is very important. But it's this tip kind of lets me scumble and scribble, do a lot of cross-hatching, and I like the way it flows and it works on the cold press watercolor paper. So I'm going to start. Well, I've already started. The idea is like the light's sort of pouring down on the character, and your cross hatches show that motion. It shows the little lines following the surface of the little character, and that's going to give it its form and its shape and its shadow, its weight. I really enjoy it because there's a grand tradition of cross-hatching.
C is for cookie, that good enough for me.
I'm using a heat gun wand thing trying to dry off all that ink, because nothing is worse than it looks dry, the ink you think is dry, and then you smudge it and it goes everywhere. I have a little spray bottle and I sprayed everything, given it a good soak, spread all that water around. Switching to a filbert brush, I'm gonna put an initial wash of just pure yellow, spread it out a bit, add more water. And now some burnt umber on top of it, and I'm letting them mix together. A little bit thicker at the top, I hope it flows down to the bottom. It's dangerous to use a cool and warm together. Who knows what they'll mix into? Let's hope that Viridian hue is up to the task. The task of not ruining my painting. The ground bleeds together and sets itself up. Let's move to the foreground. We're going to start with a warmer green. Mix it with a little bit of cool. Just let it flow and do itself. I'm adding a very warm yellow ochre at the base. Yellow ochre would blend with anything. When in doubt, yellow ochre. Behind our characters, I'm putting a sort of a vanilla yellow. It's like sunlight poking through all the trees. It'll really pop our characters and push them forward. Create a warmth in the forest. Being dangerous. Adding some ultramarine blue up there at the top, mixing it with the burnt umber, trying to just make the woods huge and heavy deep in a forest. And it blends out, sort of looking less and less harsh as it bleeds. Finally, I add just a few dark accents. It's time to help it dry with the help of the heat gun wand thing. The wand does a really good job of drying it without moving the paint around too much. Feels almost natural. Almost. Anytime you want it just dry, you just go ahead and dry it then. Time to paint in the shadows. First I'll do an underpainting of the shadows, and then I'll paint the local color on top of it. As a general rule, when you're outside, the shadows can be really warm and the highlights can be blue because of the ambient blue sky and sunlight all around you. So this is sort of a watercolor version of that natural phenomenon. And if it works in nature, it's going to work in your painting. Usually. I'd recommend going for the cast shadows first, the shadows being cast by the trunk, by the brim of the hat, underneath the coat. That'll really help to define your form. Then there's other areas that I just need to be sort of darker, like the wings, a little spot on the cat's tummy. And maybe around the edges and on the ground, just things to sort of pop things forward. You develop, the more you try this, the more you try shading or you observe, the better you are going to be at just sort of understanding how light works and how light flows over subjects. It's time to move on to the local color, a little blue. See how the shadow, the browns just kind of, the warm shadows just kind of come through the local color, and those values mix really well with the local color, making it kind of, have shape and mass. Little red mouth pops. if you mess up a little bit, it's okay. Just kind of lift it with a dry brush or a dry towel. I think normally you should go ahead and make a color study or two. Really understand what colors you're about to use. For me, I was doing this so long, or I've been doing this so long that I had a very clear image in my head of sort of these two and what colors I was going to use for them. I've been a fan of blue elephants ever since the Fisher-Price toy I had as a child. So whenever I see a blue elephant, that's awesome. Actually, there's a blue elephant on Star Wars who plays the piano in Jabba's palace. Max Rebo. Yeah, now that's a blue elephant. Going in with one wash and then just adding more of maybe the same color. Really starts adding up and working with each wash on top of the other. And this is when the image really starts coming to life. Bright red dots on the cheek and then just using the dry brush to lift it. Going very bold with the yellow. Just makes them pop right off the page. It'll be probably the most saturated part of this whole painting. If you're gonna do full saturation, it's good to kind of just pick one focal point, red or yellow or blue or whatever, and just let it stand out. If everything's big and bright, then your eye will look everywhere, but if your focal point is the brightest area, then that will help the eye move around the composition. So big yellow shape there, see, and little red shape. We're just adding in some final dark accents, little bits of blue, blending into the green for little grass blades. The sky overhead is so blue and ambient that you can get away with a lot of putting blue on a lot of things. The best part of making these watercolors is definitely pulling off the tape. So what did a little yellow cat bat say to the elephant in a top hat? My dear friend, in a world where sizes and styles vary greatly, remember that it is not the hat that defines you, but the kindness and wisdom beneath it. Embrace your uniqueness and share your warmth with those around you, for it's the heart that truly matters. And as for me, I may be small, but my wings carry big dreams, as big as the sky. Together, we can make this world a more colorful and enchanting place. Thanks so much for watching. We'll do another one soon. Same Matt time, same Matt channel.